nice to meet you, Verena. I just saw your talk on one of the stages. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting to us about AirQ. So what are AirQ doing and what are AirQ? What do they do?
Okay, so AirQ was actually founded in 2019, so we're still a young company, but we're able to ramp up in the past couple of years, thankfully, and we're a 50-50 joint venture between LG Electronics and Lufthansa Technik. And actually what we're doing, we're all about digitalizing the aircraft cabin, meaning we're offering an open IT platform where we want to create economy in the sky, where airlines can basically onboard partners together with us in order to make the digital experience on board more digitalized. I mean, digitalize it in general. But I think the experience at the moment, I think because we're partnering with LG, on the one hand with LG Electronics, which are kind of, an expert in consumer electronics, we want to bring these technologies basically into the aircraft, and this is where Lufthansa Technik has come into place with the expertise in aviation to close this gap of the experience that we're having on the ground compared to what we have at the moment on the aircraft, because it's still not very digitalized at the moment.
I completely agree. I think historically the experience on an aircraft was so much more advanced, and it's kind of done a complete flip. Completely changed. So now when you go on an aircraft, you expect to have everything that you usually would have.
Right.
And actually, I think IFE systems do fall short. And what one of your technical sales guys was telling me is that your system can be customized to the season.
Right.
And so as a marketing professional yourself, I imagine that's really useful. So I'm English, so when the Queen died, there's the potential to be able to customize the screens based on the tone of what's going on in world news, I guess.
Absolutely. So on the one hand, it's the personalization for the passenger on board. So it would be great for the passenger on board to have not a one-fit-all solution in front of their faces, basically, but to be able, maybe through a few questions in the beginning, once you're on board and once you start interacting with the in-flight entertainment, that kind of filters a bit better what your interests are. However, on the other side, in order to react to these changes in the world that are happening fast these days, is for the airlines to be able to do that. And with our solution, with the ground infrastructure that we're offering, airlines can actually do that. They can do content updates very, very quickly. They can do these UI changes, whether it's coloring or a certain theme that you were talking about, for specific routes, for specific destinations. Maybe also just for a period of time, because themes, seasons, they change.
Like Christmas or,
Exactly. So my favorite example is basically the Oscar season, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think we're still in it, so February time frame, right? So the airline is able to update the movies accordingly. Maybe the ones that are being nominated or related ones, they can update the shopping area with perhaps merchandise for these movies or books that are based on the movies, and also have the UI changes in a sort of Oscar theme, so it all fits together and the content is actually relevant. And after, let's say, a couple of weeks or a month or something, they could easily change it depending on the destination, depending on the routes, depending on the fleet, in order to make the content more relevant for the passenger.
And there's so much you can access via your IFE. So I think airlines that have got their IFE right really can benefit, not necessarily now, but in the future, with all the data that they gather. So if there's a group of a family, they can understand what that family watches, what they're looking for when they shop, all of those things, which makes ultimately the airline be able to generate more revenue through the IFE system. Is that something that you guys get involved with, or?
Yes, this is definitely one of the important points in our offering, is how to use data smartly in order to make the offering more relevant for the passengers, but also sufficient for the airlines. If they understand better what the passenger wants, what they like, what their needs are, of course the experience for the passenger will be better, automatically enhancing the service and everything, the experience the airline will see happening on board, basically. all on and gathering data, matching the data smartly. I think this is kind of the basis also that we need to do.
And it's implementing these systems now and understanding your data now, so that in the future you've gathered so much more data than your competitors. I would say that is a real win at the moment for airlines when they are looking at changing their IFE.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think, thank you so much for coming on the show. And I'm excited to see more from AirQ, and as they grow over time.